Hello everyone. In this video, we would be discussing the Afghanistan conflict. It becomes important to discuss this topic as American troops are now set to leave this country in totality. In order to understand the Afghan conflict, we need to start with the Afghan War, alternatively also known as the Soviet invasion, which started in 1978 and, of course, stretched out up until 1992. So, this war was fought between anti communist Islamic guerrillas or insurgents and Afghan communist government aided by Soviet troops. What had happened was the centrist government in Afghanistan was overthrown by left wing military officers. They then forged close ties with the Soviet state, and in true socialist style, they then went on to purge domestic opposition and launched a wide series of socialist reforms, as a result of which various insurgencies arose. These insurgents were collectively called the Mujahideen, which in the Arabic language stands for those who engage in jihad or holy war. So remember, this was the era of Cold War, and superpowers thus yearned for small client states. As insurgency arose, it prompted the Soviet Union to invade in 1979 with thousands of troops. But Mujahideen also received weapons, mainly from USA and via Pakistan. Then, as history tells us, in 1989, Soviet Union disintegrated, and as a result of this, Afghan communist government could not resist any longer and was overthrown in the year 1992. Now, one thing which is most significant is that we have to keep in mind Afghanistan since 1978 has been in a state of perpetual war. So there was Soviet invasion, then there was post 1992 internal race for power, and then the ongoing US led Afghanistan war after 9/11. So, internal, external, both types of wars the country has been continuously witness to since the late 1970s. Coming to what happened in the years after the overthrow of the communist government, that is post 1992 years, the thing is that there were many factions of Mujahideen, whether Pashtun, Uzbek, or Tajiks, and there were sympathetic Muslims from throughout the world called Afghan Arabs, and they were called this regardless of their ethnicity. They had also come to Afghanistan during the long years of Soviet occupation to resist them. So all these factions came together to set up a transitional government and proclaimed Afghanistan an Islamic Republic. But President Burhanuddin Rabbani, leader of a major Mujahideen group, refused to leave office in accordance with the power sharing arrangement. So others, led by Gulbuddin Hekmatyar, surrounded Kabul, causing chaos for many years. And in 1994, Taliban, which in Pashto language means students or religious students, emerged. Taliban was an Islamic group led by a former Mujahideen commander, Muhammad Omar, and it seized control in 1996, couple of years after their emergence, that is. And soon they controlled all except a part of northern Afghanistan, which was held by a loose coalition of Mujahideen forces known as the Northern Alliance. The fighting between the Taliban and the Northern Alliance continued until 2001. The rule of Taliban was infamous for suppression of rights and civil liberties of common people and women. In September 2001, the situation took a drastic turn. September 11, 2001 was the day when Al Qaeda, a major terrorist group, attacked World Trade Center in New York and the Pentagon building in Washington, D.C. Close to 3,000 people died in these attacks. President George W. Bush of the United States of America vows to win the war against terrorism and zeroes in on Al Qaeda and Osama bin Laden living in Afghanistan. He calls on the Taliban regime to, and I quote, deliver to the United States authorities all the leaders of Al Qaeda who hide in your land. But Taliban refused to do so, and in coming days, America invaded Afghanistan. The 9/11 attacks were also used to impose wide array of security measures and regulations in USA and abroad. Strict laws were formulated to eavesdrop on US citizens without a court order. An infamous detention camp at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba was set up, which was revealed to have indulged in gross human rights violations. Now, what happened after invasion? The invasion has continued up until this year, at least that is 2021. So it's been 2 decades. Some themes which emerge are, and we would discuss them separately in the video ahead. Number one is defeat of Taliban. Then second is escape of bin Laden. Then there is the setting up of new democratic government. Then the striving for reconstruction of Afghanistan. Next is the American efforts on pulling out of the war, and closely linked is the last theme of attempts at reconciliation. So, USA invaded Afghanistan and called it Operation Enduring Freedom. US military, with British support, future support of other NATO members, Northern Alliance and ethnic Pashtun anti Taliban forces conducted airstrikes on Al Qaeda and Taliban. Taliban strongholds crumbled by November 2001, so within a couple of months actually. But in the next 2 decades, Taliban, which was not entirely down and out, re emerged, sometimes stronger and at other times weaker, but constantly challenging the Afghan and US forces. This necessitated the growth in numbers of NATO and US troops. Another vital topic which shaped immense discussion was Osama bin Laden, the Al Qaeda head. Taliban might have collapsed initially, but the Al Qaeda leaders continued to hide out in the mountains and Laden escaped. Over the years, he released a number of videotapes challenging US's might. In 2011, however, he was found in Pakistan and killed by American forces. Death of America's primary war target added to the long simmering debate about whether or not to continue with the Afghanistan war. As lawmakers and public called for a hastened drawdown of US troops in Afghanistan, anti Pakistan rhetoric grew. Kabul's officials had long blamed terrorist safe havens in Pakistan for violence in Afghanistan, and they would say that the fight against terrorism is not in Afghan villages and houses, rather, it was in Pakistan. They were merely voicing the long known truth that it was the state of Pakistan which had and was continuing to keep the conflict in Afghanistan simmering by aiding the extremist elements so as to gain strategic depth with India. We would dwell more on this in a video on India Pakistan relations. So, as the Taliban was defeated, the focus was turned on to establish a new democratic regime in Kabul. Under the Bonn Agreement, an interim government was set up in which Taliban was not included, of course. Over the years, a constitution came into being providing for a presidential system of government, democratic elections with participation of women took place, and leaders such as Hamid Karzai and Ashraf Ghani emerged. However, there were widespread allegations of corruption on the elected leaders, and it was also witnessed that they were not very effective in defending Afghanistan militarily against attacks by Taliban, that is, or carrying out developmental works. Now, needless to say that a country which has suffered war since 3 decades would need some reconstruction, not only in terms of political democratic training, but also in terms of physical infrastructure such as schools, hospitals, parliament building, roads, railways, etc., and human rights, including improved nutrition and new means of livelihoods. Training of Afghan security forces was also part of the reconstruction efforts as a country needs to defend itself from internal and external attacks in order to survive. However, There was an antagonist in the way of all these reconstruction efforts, and it was Pakistan. It sponsored attacks on those involved in reconstruction activities, leading to high human costs of rebuilding this war torn country. Because of these high human costs, and partly because of reasons such as death of Osama, long years of war, cost in dollars, Iraq war, 2008 economic recession, pressure from home started building up on consecutive American governments to withdraw from the war in Afghanistan, and beginning 2009 this was sought to be achieved by multiple governments. But things were not quite clear. Many in the West, as well as Afghanistan and also in India, expressed concerns about an adverse post pullout security scenario as re emergence of Taliban was not desirable. On June 22, 2011, Obama confirmed that the US was holding preliminary peace talks with the Taliban leadership. In 2012, Taliban struck a deal to open an office in Qatar. But there were setbacks in this process of reconciliation. Assassination sponsored by Pakistan based Haqqani network, for example. But on and off, the efforts continued. Now, what do all the concerned parties want out of the reconciliation process? Afghan government wants Taliban's violence to stop. The Taliban want Islamic laws imposed in Afghanistan and Taliban men held as prisoners released. USA wants to get out of the country it has been present in for 20 years with least damage to its troops. It also wants to ensure peace in Afghanistan and that its territory should not be used for international terrorism as it pulls out. Now, the key question which arises is, how is the present situation like? In 2021, Biden, the newly elected American president, decided on complete US withdrawal by September 11, 2021. Troops will be withdrawn regardless of whether progress is made in intra Afghan peace talks or the Taliban reduces its attacks on Afghan security forces and citizens. NATO troops in Afghanistan will also leave. Washington will, however, continue to assist Afghan security forces and support the peace process. Major question here is, has the war ended? Well, maybe for America it would end by the end of this year, but in Afghanistan, as you can also see on the map, government controls the cities, but the Taliban encircle it in dark orange, and large part of the country is still contested, neither being here or there. So many in the Taliban believe they have won the war. They see themselves as a government in waiting and refer to self as the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. Will they launch a military takeover of the country following American withdrawal? We don't know, but they could very well do that. Taliban is also widely known to be anti-female education and schooling of girls, but some changes have been seen. A local Talib leader was quoted as saying, as long as they wear hijab, it's important for them to study. But the fear that ultra conservative values might undercut freedoms that many young people have grown up with over the past 2 decades, particularly in the urban areas, is very much present. If the Taliban is able to re establish itself, doors to deaths, starvation, disease, unemployment would only increase. Also, remember, Afghanistan was, by the end of the 20th century, one of the most heavily mined countries in the world. So, whereas American strategists may speak in terms of less or more threats to the US homeland, but only time will tell whether they improved lives of common Afghan citizens or further plummeted their country into the catacombs. With this, we have come to the end of this lecture. If it helped, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.